Intro. Imagine a time when your hotel room TV only had a few channels. And you slept on a coin-operated bed that vibrated. Today we take a look at 11 hotel features you won't find anymore. Googie architecture. In the 1950s and 60s, a unique style called Googie architecture became popular in America, especially noticeable in the designs of motel signs along busy roads. This style was characterized by futuristic shapes and bold angles, meant to catch the eye of drivers and travelers. Bright neon lights and exaggerated elements made these signs stand out, signaling a fun and modern place to stay. Motels used these elaborate signs to attract guests, often listing amenities like swimming pools or color TVs, which were luxuries at the time. The Googie style reflected the optimism and growth of the post-war era, when car travel became more common for American families. Googie architecture was also influenced by the space age, which inspired its forward-looking design elements. TV. In the 1960s and 70s, having a television in each hotel room was a big deal and considered a luxury. These TVs were analog and quite bulky compared to today's flat screens. They had two large knobs used to switch between VHF, very high frequency, and UHF, ultra high frequency, signals, which were the main types of TV broadcasts at the time. Adjusting the antenna, often in the form of rabbit ears, on top of the TV, was necessary to get a clear picture. Watching TV during a hotel stay was a special treat for many, especially those who didn't own a TV at home. Some of these old TVs also featured built-in radios, offering guests more entertainment options. Magic Fingers. In the 1960s and 70s, many motel rooms had a unique feature called Magic Fingers. This was a motorized device attached to the bed that would vibrate when activated. Guests could use Magic Fingers by inserting a quarter into a connected box, which would then provide about 15 minutes of vibration. This was intended to help travelers relax after a long day of driving or sightseeing. However, many people found that the vibration wasn't particularly soothing and often more of a novelty than a real comfort. The inventor of Magic Fingers, John Hoteling, developed the device in his basement in 1958, and it became a common feature in motels across America. Postcards. Staying at a hotel or motel was often marked by a charming practice, sending postcards. Many hotels and motels provided guests with postcards right in the lobby. These postcards often showcased pictures of the very hotel or scenic local attractions and could be sent to family and friends to share experiences and highlights of a trip. Guests enjoyed picking out the perfect card to make their loved ones back home a little envious of their travels. The spinning racks full of colorful postcards were not just for decoration but served as a tangible connection between travelers and their communities. Some of these vintage postcards have become collectible items today, valued for their nostalgic portrayal of historic hotels and bygone eras. Keycards. Before the digital age introduced keycards in the 1970s, hotels and motels commonly used traditional metal room keys. These keys were often attached to large, plastic tags that featured the hotel's name, address, and the guest's room number. The tags also had a stamp that said, "Guaranteed postage paid," which meant if guests accidentally took a key home, they could drop it in any mailbox, and it would be returned to the hotel at no extra cost to them. This system was cost-effective for hotels because it was cheaper to pay for the key's postage than to make a new one. Guests would leave their room keys at the front desk when they went out, helping the staff keep track of who was in the building. Guest books. In the past, hotels kept their guest logs in large, handwritten books, where every guest signed their name upon arrival. These books were typically placed openly in the lobby for anyone to see. Over time, hotel owners realized that having an open guest book could pose privacy issues, as any visitor or passerby could easily look up who was staying at the hotel. This realization led to a significant change in how guest information was managed, prioritizing the privacy of guests. As technology advanced, these handwritten logs were replaced with computerized systems, which helped protect guest information more securely. You can still find guest books in some inns or Airbnbs today, where they are used for guests to leave reviews rather than for registration purposes. Bibles. The Gideon Bibles were a common sight in hotel and motel nightstands across America for many decades. These Bibles are distributed by the Gideons International, an organization founded in 1899 by traveling salesmen who wanted to spread Christian teachings. The tradition started in the early 1900s, with the idea that travelers would find comfort and guidance in the scriptures during their stays. Over the years, millions of Bibles were placed in rooms, making them a familiar part of the hotel experience. However, with changes in society's views on religion and the rise of digital technology, these Bibles have become less common in hotel rooms. Comforters hotel beds were often a vivid highlight of any room due to their bright and floral patterned comforters. Unlike today's more relaxed style, these comforters were tightly tucked around the pillows, creating a very neat and orderly appearance. This style of making beds was very uniform across hotels, emphasizing consistency and a sense of luxury. The bold patterns and colors not only made the rooms feel cheerful but also reflected popular design trends of the time. As styles and guest preferences evolved, hotel bedding became more subdued and less formal. Some hotels today choose retro designs that nod to this colorful past, blending modern comfort with vintage aesthetics. Services. Larger hotel lobbies weren't just places to check in, they also offered various services to make guest stays more enjoyable. One popular service was a barbershop, where men could get a quick haircut. Another service commonly found was a shoe shine stand, which was essential at a time when people owned fewer shoes and keeping them in good condition was important. These services made the hotel experience feel more luxurious and personalized, reflecting the hospitality standards of the time. This kind of full-service approach helped hotels stand out to travelers who valued comfort and convenience. Today, the tradition of offering unique amenities continues, with modern hotels now providing services like spas and fitness centers. Smoking rooms. In the past, many hotels offered designated smoking rooms to accommodate guests who smoked. These rooms were specifically equipped with glass ashtrays and complimentary matchbooks that often bore the hotel's logo. The atmosphere in these rooms was distinctly different due to the residual smell of smoke, which could permeate the furniture and curtains. Over time, societal changes and increased awareness of the health risks led to a decline in the popularity of smoking rooms. Nowadays, most hotels in the United States are completely smoke-free, prioritizing the health and comfort of all guests. Some hotels used to collect and display the matchbooks left by guests as a quirky historical record of their visitors. Phone systems. Hotel phone systems were once operated on a PBX network, which was quite a sophisticated setup in the past. This system allowed hotel guests to communicate with various services within the hotel, like the front desk or the restaurant. However, to make a call to someone outside the hotel, guests had to first contact the front desk to be connected to an external line. This method of communication was very common before the widespread use of personal cell phones and VoIP phones. The reliance on the hotel staff to connect calls meant that privacy could sometimes be compromised, as your calls were routed through the central system. This system also allowed hotel staff to monitor calls for billing purposes, for when guests made long-distance calls. So, how do hotels back then compare to staying at a hotel now? Drop a comment down below to tell us your favorite hotel memory. Intro.